南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛. Homage to our respected teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Even though this is not really a Dhamma talk per se, but actually in the discussion we will always, I will always try to direct the discussion back to the Buddha's teachings. That's why it's always nice to actually begin the Dhamma talk with the respect, paying respect to our teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha, wise, very wise teacher. So yes, so we are reading today page 24 and 25, and it is this beautiful picture. Who knows what are what seeds are they? Huh? What kind of seeds are they? Nobody knows? It looks very familiar. Thistles? Could they be thistles? No? Okay. Yeah, they can't remember. We see them very often around here. Okay, so what do you see from this picture? You did not, oh, okay. Laurie, will you please? Yeah.
Sifu, I don't know what they're called, but I call them burrs.
Birds.
And when I look at burrs, B-U-R, burrs.
Oh, birds. Oh.
Yeah. And they're very tenacious. They stick to you, and they're very, very difficult to get off.
Yeah, they stick to your clothes, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and they stick to your dogs.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I have a lot of experience with birds. And I look at this picture and I smile because it's beautiful. The bird itself is beautiful, but it's also oftentimes very unwanted, very difficult to get rid of.
Hey.
Kind of like things in life, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Good.
my thoughts on birds.
Yeah, birds. They are called birds. Okay. Yeah, they stick to you, especially in the winter, right? Stick to your woolens, woolies, and yeah. Okay, Catherine, yes? Thank you, Laurie. Thank you. Catherine, yes.
Good evening, people and friends. When I looked at this picture, right away my judgment come up. I don't like it. It hurts.
It hurts, yeah.
So, yeah, but the thing is, like Stephen said, if we don't heal off the cabbage of craving, of aversion to unpleasant situation and friends,
yeah.
So how can we will always stay in day one?
Yeah.
We can never change.
Yeah.
So right away I try to find what's the good part of it by just looking at it.
Good. It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah. We can imagine those are like fur.
Yeah. Good, okay. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, thank you. Good. Yeah, Wai Fun? Yes. My Wai Fun from Hong Kong. Okay. You're all, yes, good morning.
Good evening. I look at it, in my mind, I think that they want to protect themselves,
yes.
And present
Yeah.
but it's not real.
Ah, it's not real. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. Interesting, eh? Yeah, it's not real. But it's real when they stick to you.
It's actually called
Thank
burdock.
you.
Burdock.
Greater burdock.
Yeah, I think it's the seeds of burdock. Yeah. Yeah, it's the seeds of burdock. Burdock 係叫咩？高布高布係咩？牛蒡啊，牛蒡啊，this is the 牛蒡嘅銀嚟㗎。OK，阿鳳瓊，yeah， 鳳瓊，yeah， 梁鳳瓊 ，yes。There you go.
師傅
Yes, morning.
，sorry,
That's okay.
your evening, our morning. So I just came in and looked at it, and it matches. Just happened. It matches very well to my emotion. Yeah,
Ah,
this morning because something unhappy happened last night, and so first look, oh, my feeling is really tough. Yeah, some life is really tough,
yeah,
and Galen, it has a lot of spikes.
yeah,
Just like what Wei Feng say, it looks like wanting to hurt you,
yeah.
and it looks really
Go away from them, hey? Get away from them, yeah,
they're trying to threaten you away,
yeah,
to scare you.
yeah,
But what I think is, what I feel is, if you look more closely, those spikes are not sharp.
no,
They got some, I don't know what with. At the point, it's not that pointy. It's
yeah, it's got a little, yeah, little bit, yeah, little thing,
Yeah.
yeah, right, yeah,
and it's not trying to hurt you.
yeah,
They are. So, if I'm sure if I can touch it with a gentle heart, I think we could be friends.
yeah.
Yes.
Good, okay, great. Thank you, Feng King. Yeah. Oh, they are the seeds of a beautiful a vegetable, right? Called burdock, and you can make tea with you can make tea. You can eat a salad. You can deep fry. You can make soup. Burdock is actually very, very good vegetable, good plant. You have something to say, Fersha? I saw that you were planning to say something, so.
Good evening, Sifu. I was just thinking in relation to dogs. I used to have a big German Shepherd, and he would run through the forest and come back with these on him.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, if I ignored them, they would get deeper and deeper into his hair, and they would actually become an infection and fester.
Yeah.
So what I learned very quickly, like hindrances and fetters,
right, yeah.
we have to take like very patiently, I would have to like take this off the dog to relieve him. So I'm thinking of these in relation
Yes.
to that spirit.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Mali. Where are they? Okay. Yep.
Thank you, Sifu. So what I was going to say, we actually walked by the river and we saw some of these and thought they were thistle. They look thorny and prickly looking at them.
Yeah.
But they could also be delicate and tender to touch. So we are looking at things from external appearances. So it could be gentle, or it could be, so we judge people by looking at
their appearances.
External, how they present themselves.
externally, but not actually what's within them. So
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. You see, you guys are getting so much better. You see the deeper picture now. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Anybody else before I say anything? Yeah, I think the spikes there, they are actually, these are wild plants in Canada. Of course, people, because if they're being used as a food source, then people grow them, right? So they are wild plants, and they need to protect themselves. They need to protect themselves from other wild plants and or from other beings, and also I haven't actually touched these, but we were told last year that we have a lot of burdock at Polam, so we started digging them out, and they are very deep and they are very brittle. The roots are very deep and brittle, and these seeds, I think they are actually protecting themselves. And as Mali said, we are actually seeing them from the outside, the external, but we don't actually see why they are like this. So in the universe, I think everything appears because there must be a reason for them to appear in that way. So they probably probably being existed in a very difficult situation, being challenged by a lot of other wild plants or even animals or whatever. So they need to protect themselves in order to actually propagate themselves. Otherwise, how can they propagate themselves? Because they are being wild, right? So I think that's why those which cannot protect themselves, which cannot propagate themselves, they become extinct. Right? That's one thing. And the other thing is we can see that how we connect with this plant, because this chapter is talking about connectivity, connecting. How we connect with this plant is, Catherine said, I don't like it because it's all spikes. And some of you say, this is the exterior appearance. Who knows about the interior one? And somebody said, wow, it's got stuck into the dog's fur, and if not being, we comb it out, and then it caused problems in the dog's skin. So we all have different reasons to like it or to dislike it. We all have different reasons because of our different life experiences, because of our different predisposition to teachings, and also because of our difference in our own karma from way back. So that's why we need to develop mindfulness. Otherwise, if we are not careful, we lose to the untrained mind. Right, and we follow what the untrained mind leads us to. Okay, good. So that's much for the picture. So let us look at the passage. So it says there is no real enemy when a person is in danger, or in anger, greed, and delusion, ignorance or doubt. Their behavior reflects that anger, greed, and delusion. So what makes somebody an enemy to you is not that person, it is that person's behavior. And it is actually, we actually talk about this on page 21, where that bee was picking the pollen with the cherry tree, right? It's something like that, but I think this is actually a further extension, or you can say it could be a deeper understanding about our own mind. So when I said there is no real enemy, I think your mom didn't agree with this passage ever. It wasn't that one. It was this one. She didn't agree She didn't agree with this passage. And I could see why she didn't agree, just like this picture. How can we see the beauty of this birds? We can't. It is very difficult for us to see the beauty of these birds if we don't become very mindful and very objective, and try to penetrate into the depth and into the deep truth, rather than just looking at the exterior. If we are looking at the surface picture, we won't fall in love with these birds, right? We won't. And just like this passage. And when a person is in anger and greed and delusion and ignorance or doubt, the behavior reflects that anger, that greed and delusion. We actually talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So what makes somebody an enemy to you is really not that person, and it is that person's behavior. And remember that little exercise that we did, yeah? And we had that unpleasant experience with that person. And if we remove those experiences, let it be anger or greed or delusion or ignorance of that person. And I remember some of you said, wow, that person is somebody that I love and I would like to love. And that person becomes likable. I remember some of the comments, right? So really, who is the real enemy? Who's the real enemy? The real enemy is the delusion, the anger, the greed, and the ignorance. This is a beautiful picture. You should actually enlarge to look at this picture. I don't know whether anybody could really recall seeing this picture anywhere, or part of this picture. Part of a big picture where this picture is in there.
12 links.
Huh?
12 links.
12 links, yes. You should have a mic. Where's your mic? It's over there. Yeah, the mic is sitting over there, and you're talking over there. Okay. Epheset is the 12 links. Remember? The 12 links of dependent origination. 12因緣. So this is the diagrammatic presentation of the 12 links. And this is the hub of the 12 links, the center part of the 12 links. It represents 3 different things. It represents the things that actually causes us to go into these wheels of samsara, wheels of birth and death. So what are the 3 things? What did you see in here? Three different what is the bottom one? A pig. Yeah, a pig. And then what is the green one? Start with, Start with a snake, okay? So what is that orange one? A pigeon? Laurie, did you say pigeon? Nora, what did you say?
Chicken.
A rooster, yes, a rooster. Rooster. Can you? Yes, so that is the rooster, which is orange in color, and then the pig, gray in color, and then the snake, yellow in green and blue in color. So these represents the 3 very, very crucial. We can call, what can we call them? Feathers? Can we call them feathers? Or poisons? Poisons. Yeah, poisons. So what does the pig represent? Ignorance, delusion, ignorance. And so remember, this is the inner hub, the inner circle of the 12 links. And you go back home to check. I cannot remember where I actually used that diagram in which teachings. 42, huh?
In the prison.
In the prison, but I taught it here too. I remember. I can't remember whether it was the 42 chapters or the whatever. Can't remember. And then the snake is hatred or anger. All right, and then there will be this craving, desire. So this is the innermost circle of the 12 links, where these three animals are there, and this middle hub is actually depicts the basic problem, which causes our samsara. This pig actually, the ignorance is actually, he's the big boss there. He drives the whole entire process. He starts the entire process. Remember, ignorance is at what time? At what hour? 12 o'clock. Yeah, 12 o'clock. 1, 2. Yeah, right up there. So ignorance is right up there. It drives the whole entire process of the 12 links, the dependent origination. And this pig actually stands for the root ignorance. That isn't just an absence of understanding the truth, but also a very active misapprehension, understanding of the status of ourself, or the existence of ourself and of any other object, whether animate, inanimate. This object could be our own body and mind, it could be of people, it could be of things, it could be of situations. So it is not just the appreciation of the truth, but also the misunderstanding or not being able to appreciate the status of ourself. Okay, so this pig here would cause so much of these following emotions, hatred and desire. And you can see the rooster, in some pictures you can see the rooster actually have the pig's tail in the rooster's mouth. And in some pictures you can see also the snake and the rooster, both of them have the pig's tail in the mouth. But this picture, I just have the rooster having the pigtails is in the rooster mouth. But some pictures have the tails of the pig is inside the rooster, and the snake are carrying the tail of the ignorance of the pig in their mouth. Then what does that mean? That means they are all interconnected together. So when lust, hatred, desire and hatred, or lust and hatred they arise depending on the ignorance of that existence. Without ignorance, there will be no desire, there will be no hatred. Because, well, what? The ignorance leading to the next one is sankhara, right? Right? No, mental volition. So if there is no ignorance, there will be no sankhara, and with no sankhara, there will be no consciousness, vijnana. So we can see that this ignorance is the starting point of all the problems that we have, all the afflictions, our emotions, our blindness, everything arise because that ignorance. So with the rooster and the snake having the tail of the pigs in their mouth, that means they are so much entangled together. So they are also, so that's why they are called the three poisons. And they cause mental turbulence, tsunami, mental turbulence, and just because of that ignorance. So remember this picture carefully and constantly remind yourself. When you become deluded, when you become ignorant, and then right there, you remind yourself, wow, the snake and the rooster are coming to get my tail. And then swinging, three of them swing together, having fun. And that is not a good fun. It's really not a fun thing, right? So remember this. So this is the hub that causes that samsara. So we see this, the three types of afflictions, very difficult poisons that actually causing so much turmoil in our life. And greed and desire, we can say these are all really fundamental afflictions that causes so much sufferings and miseries and unhappiness and dissatisfaction. With greed and desire, we normally say, oh, greed or craving and desire or lust. But we can actually detailedly dissect them into a lot of emotions. And maybe you can name a few for me. Anybody who can name a few emotions that are sort of that belongs to the category of greed and desire? Varsha, yes, please.
I think that maybe jealousy comes from greed and desire, and therefore resentment would come from greed and desire.
Okay. Yes.
Hatred would come
Yeah.
from greed and desire.
Yeah. What else?
I would say love is also a greed.
Love, yes. Love, the conditional love. Conditional love. Okay. Anybody else? Jeremy has their hand up. Okay, Jeremy, yeah.
So I was actually thinking the same lines as Versha and the what she was saying. That's why I put my hand back down.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
There's the new lingo, FOMO, fear of missing out. So you're not just greedy because you want something, but you think, oh, I might miss out on something, and so you're constantly thinking about that too.
Okay. Constantly thinking. Can you hear what she's speaking? She's got a mic, but she's got a mask on. Okay. All right, good. Okay. Good. Okay, Nora, just unmute yourself. Yes.
Mistrust.
Mistrust.
Because, if you're greedy or whatever, you think, oh, somebody else is gonna wanna take my stuff, so, you know,
Yeah.
don't trust it.
Yeah, okay, good. Good. Yeah, you can have actually a whole list of different emotions in this category, can you? Right? I'm just listing out some for you, just sort of like a reference. So lust, as Feng King said, could be lust or could be love, and tainted, the tainted emotions or tainted desire, or besiege, you want it, you beg for it, right? And then you start to attach, you don't want to give it up. I like this, no, I don't want to give it up. That's why people keep dyeing their hair, because they don't want to give up that black color hair. They don't like the look of that gray hair or silver hair, so they keep dyeing the hair because they don't like it. So they attach to that black color of the hair, or a brown color. And stingy. Is that really stingy? Yes. Because you don't want to give away, because you're stingy. So, the stingy could be an emotion in this category, category of desire or greed or craving. And blandish. So, you do favors to get what you want, right? Or you can toady. You know what is toady? Toady, T-O-A-D-Y. That means you sort of praise others to get what you want. Pakmape, toady, T-O-A-D-Y. Toad, like a toad, like a chingwa, froggy, toady. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, and then arrogant. Yeah, it could be a emotion in that category, or in this arrogant, you could also have like you belittle people because you think that you're so great, and also conceited. It could be also in that category, and irritated. Could be in that category. I just don't want to see you. You just go away, and that as I said last couple of weeks, is when you crave for something and you don't get it. If you don't get it, you start to get irritated very easily, and that sets in the next category of poison is the anger or hatred or ill will and animosity. Of course, there is anger, very common, hatred, rejection, or annoyed, worried, unhappy, or the jealousy actually belongs in this category, Versha, not belongs to the a craving category. But because you are jealous, you're jealous because you want it. So those two poisons are together in jealousy, I could say. You're wanting something because you're jealous of them. So anger, hatred could be in that could be also coupled with craving in there, with jealousy. Okay, so with jealous, sometimes you will react with, you try to shun that people out, right? You go away. I really don't want to see you. I have nothing to do with you, right? Okay, so the third one, the delusion or the ignorance, we could actually see some emotion which are in this category. Is we could be very opinionated, we could be very stubborn, right? very stubborn, and so stubborn that we really actually blindfolded ourselves. Yeah, stubbornness is really a very high level of ignorance, very, very strong ignorance. So please try not to be so stubborn. And doubtful. About this vaccine thing. So many people are so worried about getting vaccine, and they are so worried about not getting vaccines. Right? So they are so worried that they about the vaccine, and they are so worried that they are not vaccinated, and that there will be a possibility of that they contract this COVID or the virus. But they are so worried about this vaccine, the complications about these vaccines. So whenever and I don't know why students always come to me and ask me, why, Sifu, should I take a vaccine? Should I take the vaccine? Should I be vaccinated? And I always ask an open-end questions. I said, what do you think? And he said, I don't know. I said, why don't you know? What do you worry about this vaccine? So it's always an open-end questions, because it's not me getting the vaccine, it's you getting the vaccine. So why should I tell you to take it or not to take it, right? I should not be responsible for your vaccination or not vaccination. You should be your own master to decide whether to take the vaccine or not. And then they will go on, oh, I'm afraid of these complications. I said, yeah, so what complications are you afraid of? Are you afraid of blood clots? Are you afraid of, whatever? I said, then why are you afraid of blood clots? Why? Then dig down to go. You deep digging and digging is the fear of death. That's the final truth, and which I cannot help. I cannot help myself not to die, nor I can help you not to die. So sorry, that's the best answer I can give you. It's an open-end question, and you need to actually ask yourself. And this is the greatest opportunity to really understand yourself. Really, a greatest opportunity, golden opportunity for you to understand, your own mind when you actually see something that is so much unknown, and what comes up and how do you deal with it. And then you weigh the pros and cons. Okay, my fear of being killed by this vaccine, or my fear of being killed by this COVID. So weigh the pros and cons, and then you put it on a scale, and which is heavier, then you go to the lighter one. You take the lighter one, lighter choice, right? So easy to make a choice. But don't ask me to make it for you, okay? So I've told you I've told you the questions I'm going to ask whenever you ask me. I have so many questions. I have so many people coming to me. Sifu, should I take the vaccine? And I'm very polite and say, why should I bother? But I want them to actually make this opportunity to really learn about themselves. So I put out these open-end questions. So doubt, and then also discredit. So you disbelieve, distrust others when you are ignorant. You never believe that, whatever she teaches me or whatever he teaches me is correct, let me follow this. No, you always don't believe, you always do not trust. You always think that your way of doing it is the best because of ignorance sometimes. And also sometimes because of arrogance. when somebody is arrogant, somebody could be very ignorant too. So that's why, you can see the relationship, why these three are all interconnected, having the pig's tail in the roosters and in the snake mouth. You can see that, right? They are all interconnected. And Tao, like very drowsy, very foggy, very hazy, misty, and you say something to them, you teach something, they seem to understand, but they don't. And you can see, when they do things, you can see that they really did not get your message. And forgetful. Don't blame it on old age. The whole cause is ignorance. Okay. And then that's a very important, it's a wrong view. Carrying the wrong view is really, really ignorance. And of course, there are more poisons than just these three, but these are the core poisons that causes us to behave in such a way that people could see us as an enemy, right? Because we put out so much emotions, these kind of emotions, and people don't like it. And sometimes you don't like it yourself. And you yourself become your own enemy. So, where is he? Where is this enemy? Really? Right? Where is this enemy? Is this enemy inside or is this enemy outside?
Inside.
Inside, yeah, inside. If we do not have those three poisons in us, we actually, it's very difficult for others to actually spark your anger up, or kick your butt. It's very difficult. And you laugh it out, you smile it out. It's very difficult to get annoyed and whatever. I remember I saw my sifu once lost his temper, but I don't think he really lost his temper, but he's showing us a teaching. So my sifu is as you know, is a very renowned Zen teacher, and a lot of my Dhamma brothers are actually very good Zen practitioners. So I remember one time, the first year of my ordinations, I think it was in '92, and we were having a Zen retreat. In the Zen tradition, we do walking meditation. Okay, walking meditation. So there are 3 circles. The inner circles, they sort of like running. Okay, and the inner circle is actually very small, and actually only the oldest in seniority, or the one who is actually looking at the Zen hall, is allowed inside this circle. So my sifu is the only one who can actually run in that circle. And a couple of my Dhamma brothers, but they don't. My Dhamma brothers always go into the middle circle, which is bigger one. And then the outer one, which is really around the hall, really big circle. Those are us, and the householder. One time, it was during the afternoon meditation. One of my Dhamma brother, who was actually the one who was responsible for the whole retreat, like ringing the gong and everything, he went into deep samadhi. 3 hours, 4 hours, he did not move, and he did not ring the bell, and somebody rang the bell for him. But anyway, when we were doing the walking meditation, or my Sifu was doing running meditation. And one of my new Dhamma brother, he was ordained the same time with me. Whenever he passed by this Dhamma brother, who was sitting there very, very strict and very, very sturdy, very, very, very deep, and he was just looking at him like this. Whenever he passed by, he would look at him like this. Oh, after a few circles, I think it was in the third round or so, my Sifu came out from the inner circle and followed him. And when he actually did that to my Dhamma brother, my Sifu slapped him from the back. Just slapped him from the back in the head. And asked him, keep rocking. And it was like a lion's roar. The whole meditation hall was shaking. And it was a teaching. It was a teaching to us not to be ignorant, not to disturb others, because others is in practice. That is a strong practice, and you are doing this. And what kind of energy are you actually emitting, radiating out? And that would affect somebody. So in the Chinese saying is that 靈動千江水，莫動道人心. In the Chinese saying is that you rather stir up 1,000 rivers, the water in 1,000 rivers. You don't stir up the mind of a practitioner, not even a bit. That's how important that's how important it is not to actually disturb the mind of a practitioner, let alone somebody is really sitting in deep samadhi. Of course, he won't be disturbed, but you see, his actions have already disturbed me because I kept looking at him. I thought it was so funny, right? I was just first into my monkhood, and everybody was so seeing him was so funny. He was going like this, he was so cute like this. But he already disturbed our mind, and not that mind, but our mind. So my teacher actually showed him and showed us, you have to be very careful of your actions. And that action is out of ignorance. Out of ignorance. So this enemy, where is it? Inside, outside? Of course this is inside. You all know it is in here, right? Inside. So an undeveloped person or untrained person will see that everyone else in the outside world is the cause of their miseries. Right? It's the sufferings and difficulties. I don't deserve that. They make me behave like this. They make me angry. They make me doubt about them. I don't trust them. It's all about outside. But a trained, a developed, an aware person will know that every connection has a cause and effect in there. Why do we encounter this person in our life at this time, in this space? Why? And why don't he encounter her? Why? Right? That a trained person, a developed person, an aware person, first thing is come to mind is there is this law of causation. And then whether we know the cause or not is really not important, but we need to remember this. And then at that time, the miseries could become optional. We could make a choice of not being in miseries, not react to it. Because the connections is already there. The connection is, some of the connections are made in this lifetime, but a lot of the connections are already existing for a long, long time. So if we could start to see where the enemy is, we could help ourselves to come out, to make the right choice or not to create too much sufferings and miseries for ourselves. So there is this saying in one of the very renowned Confucius practitioner. He said, if one cannot avoid unwholesome person, one cannot become a good person. What he says is avoidance is not really avoidance. Avoidance is you don't actually fall into the trap of the behavior of this unwholesome person. That means you don't start to react to their unwholesome behavior. Right? Then he said, if you cannot avoid that, then there is no way that you can become a good person. Okay? And he said also, if one cannot avoid a wicked person, then one cannot become a righteous person. So it's the similar analogy as the above paragraph passage. If you cannot see that is a wicked person, and you try to react, or you react to the wickedness of that person, then how can you become a righteous person yourself? You can't. You're being led by them already. You fall into that trap of their behavior. So when we start to see people, others being not right or incorrect, check on ourselves what kind of emotions we are carrying. Are we angry? Are we impatient? Are we annoyed? Or are we worried? Check on that. And when we could start to actually check on that, it's just like us, just like a piece of rock sitting next to the beach. And then when the waves come, it polishes its corners. It rubs on the rock, on the stone, and eventually that stone will become very smooth. If you start to use those connections to actually check on yourselves, check on those emotions, and be aware not to follow those emotions, and it could be actually a way to practice. Okay? So, this one. So, to avoid these wicked people, to avoid these unwholesome people, is really not to tell them, you go away, I don't want to see you. It's not going to do any good. Okay? You just keep a smile and be aware of your own self and not to follow their track. You'll be fine. But once you start following the track or the path, then you're not fine. Okay? So never use force or suppression to try to influence or convince people. It doesn't work. Use yourself as a role model. If you can become a role model, then that's the best way to influence people. That's the best way to convince people to trust you, to be friends with you. Okay, so I would like to share a wonderful story with you. It's a true story. Of course, we have a lot of these kind of stories in the Mahayana traditions, especially in the Zen traditions. And there is this Chan master called Tong Hui, Tong Wei Simsi, Tong Hui master, and that is in the Song dynasty, which is between 960 to 1279. So that's long time ago. Okay, so 1,000 years ago. So he was when he was young, when he was still a Sramanera, a novice monk. One time he went out to get water, and in the old days they used bucket to go and get water from the river, from the well, and he went to the river to get water, and carelessly and not intentionally he killed one fish. He killed the fish. And then this Tong Wei, later, when he grew older, he became the abbot of a monastery. And one day, he told his student, his disciple, he said, 30 years ago, there was one koan, K-O-A-N, koan, that means something happened, okay? There was something happened 30 years ago, and today I'm going to finish it off. It's time to finish today. It's time to finish it off today. So the student asked him, so what is it, Sifu? And he said, well, you will know it by noon. He said, you'll know it by noon. Then after he told his student this, and then he just went into meditation. Then at that time, there was this commander-in-chief in the army. His name is Zhang Zhen. And he was a very fervent Buddhist who actually practiced the Pure Land Buddhism, Amitabha Pure Land Buddhism. And he did, because he was the commander-in-chief in the army, he just happened to pass by with a whole troop of armies, passed by the monastery, and then when he was passing by, all of a sudden, he was a very calm and steady person. And all of a sudden, he got into that heated temper. He was so angry and so annoyed, so irritated. He took his, what do you call, archery? Bows and arrows. He took his bows and arrows from his army, what do you call it, the troops. He took it and went right into the Dhamma hall, into the meditation hall. And then he saw Tong Hui master was sitting there meditating. And then the Tong Hui, the master said to him, I have been waiting for you for a long, long time. Smiling and said to him, I've been waiting to see you for a long, long time. And Zhang Zhen said, I don't understand. I don't know you. I've never known you. But why? Why today, when I see you, it is as if that I had this whole belly filled with anger and hatred and revenge. I just wanted to kill you and kill you, so I just want you to be dead. And so the master, Tong Hui, said, oh, this happened 30 years ago. I killed a fish, and you were that fish. And this commander-in-chief, Zhang Zhen, after hearing it, he was so touched. And he said, okay, because these are all the poems that I translated from Chinese, so I may not do a great translation, but I will put the Chinese on later on for you. He said, when will revenging against each other endlessly will end? When will this end? Entangling time after time is no coincidence. 劫劫相前豈偶然，係嘛？冤冤相報何時了？劫劫相前豈偶然。If I haven't encountered you and known the facts, 不若與師俱解釋。If I haven't encountered you and known the facts. Now I'm going to the western heaven while standing. 如今立地往西天. And then you know what he said? He said, now I'm going to the western heaven. That means the Pure Land while standing. And after he said this, after he finished saying that, he stood there and he died. He passed away right there. So you got this poem down? Good. Okay, so that's the Chinese one. 冤冤相報何時了，劫劫相前喜偶然。不若與詩句解釋，如今立地往西天。It's wonderful, isn't it? And then, after the chief commander stood there and passed away, what did this master say? This master also said a poem. He said, wandering away in the last 33 years. 33年飄蕩. Wandering away in the last 33 years. How many different faces have been taken? 做了幾番模樣. So that means how many lives we have taken in the last 33 years. How many cycles of birth and death we have taken. Who knows the reason we meet today? 誰知今日相逢? Wow, 讀真知咁快嘴. Yeah, you can see it from the Chinese there. Who knows the reason why we meet today? Who knows the reasons why we meet today? 誰知今日相逢? It's all because of all the happenings from the past. 卻是在前變像. Because of what happened in the past, those all happenings that keep changing and changing and changing. And the karmas keep changing and changing and changing until this point. And after this, after telling this poem, the Chan master, he was still sitting on his meditation seat, and he knew the connection between him and this commander-in-chief is done. All exhausted. All the karmic seeds have been exhausted. And he said, okay, I'm going. And he sat there, gone. Dead. Died. That's so nice. That's why I tell you, in the meditation hall, no matter how much you think that you're suffering the pain, if you die, I congratulate you. That's a wonderful death, to be able to die sitting, not in the hospital trying to resuscitate you and putting all the tubes into you, right? It's a blessing. It's a wonderful, you must be a wonderful, strong practitioner in order to be able to die sitting in the meditation hall. What kind of good karma is that, right? So look at this. Such a very difficult connection. The death of a fish, killing of a fish, leading to such an encountership. But yet, both of them could actually finish it off with such grace. Right? So we can see, no matter who we meet, this lifetime, there is a cause and effect there. So don't always see them as your enemy. Look deeper. Don't just see the exterior spikes of the burrs. The burrs inside could be very pretty. Next time I will try to break open the burrs and see what it looks like. Maybe we can use those seeds to grow our own burdock. Right? Yeah, so this is what I have to share tonight from this passage. How do you like it? Good? It's much more interesting than just studying. Right? Yeah. Oh, 委歡, yeah? Okay.
师傅, yesterday I'm on MTR.
Yeah.
A boy student is forward from me, and I said, "Excuse me." He didn't do that.
Okay.
He just looked at me, but it's
He didn't move. Yeah.
I'm very embarrassed, and I walked away. But after that, I see him. He got a seat, but he didn't sit on there, and he just continued to stand up, but not sit down. But he hold the bag on the seat. I'm just thinking he's maybe he's very unhappy. He got some
Maybe.
hurtful thing, or
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody harms him. So
Yeah.
just close my eyes and make a wishes to him.
Good. Good.
Blessing him.
Yes. Good. 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 Thank you, Wai Fun. Yes. Yes. Because
It happened.
it happens. Yeah. Yeah. Like the spikes, right? Yeah. Because we never know. We never know why others are behaving the way they are. At that moment, they may be going through a very difficult time. I remember one time, a wife said MTR is the subway in Hong Kong. I remember one time I went to a hospital, and the hospital is in the middle of a mountain, and then they have an elevator to go back down into the main road where I can take the subway subway. So I saw a little boy, and his father. I think it was his father. The boy had his backpack, carrying the backpack. The father was very sulky, and the boy was just sort of jumpy, and the father was scolding him inside the elevator. It was a very small elevator, and I was there, standing there, and the father kept scolding him. And at that time, I thought, oh, wow, I said, there is outsider there, and you're scolding your child like that. The boy was like maybe 12 or 13 years old. But I switched my mind. There was this thought coming. I said, well, we all just came from the hospital. I didn't know what these two people were doing in the hospital. Maybe the wife or the mother was sick, or maybe somebody has passed away, or whatever, Maybe the father was worried that whatever. I just switched my way of thinking, and then it's just everything just settles, and it's so you can see how fast we start to judge people. How fast we start to judge a situation according to our views, according to our feelings. So never dance with your feelings. Don't dance with your feelings. Don't partner up with your feelings. Okay? Anybody else have anything to share? No? Okay. All right. Do homework. Next week. Oh, next week is a beautiful picture of ice and maples. The ice storm that we had a few years ago. Okay. All right then. Nurture your kind and giving heart. If you haven't donated the 1 square meter project, please donate, or save your coffee money in the piggy bank, and help us to finish off this project. Okay. All right. So, nothing else?
Sorry, can I?
Use the mic, please. Yes, sure.
See, if I just wanted to say it, thank you so much for that story. So inspiring, because we've heard about the stories that you've brought up before about the end of your life,
Yeah.
right? And it's always, I'm waiting for my wife or my son or whoever to come.
Yeah.
And this is, he was waiting for someone who he had so much difficulty come, and then
Yeah.
then they can both go. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank
and that entanglement is completely dissolved with two wonderful, gracious mind. It gives you so much hope about the path, about the practice. Give us so much hope, right? So keep working, add more oil. Don't add oil into the fire. Don't throw wood into the fire. But the fire could be used to burn for your own practice, not to burn others, okay? All right? Good. Okay, let us then dedicate our merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the other living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the wise words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them, and help themselves to liberate from their own entanglements and be truly and ultimately free and happy and peaceful.